Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zyman, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zyman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsuranceguy.com. And Eldercare Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. And good evening now, good afternoon, or good morning, and welcome to TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 7. Honored to have with us the mayor of Sycamore, Mr. Steve Braser. Steve, how you doing today?
Good, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, and of course the solid, the rock, the oak tree of the news show, Dan Lynch joining us. Dan, how you doing? You were just caught by a train in DeKalb, were you not, sir?
Downtown DeKalb, gotta love it. Trains, a lot of trains going by.
Not only trains going one way, but going both ways in this case, right?
Yep.
I was talking to Steve before. I think the average is 80 trains a day going through DeKalb. So
does Sycamore have that problem?
We don't have a train.
Well, yeah,
not a problem.
But we'll be talking about some Sycamore news and, of course, the news for DeKalb County as well. And we're encouraging Mr. Mayor to comment about that stuff. And we have a surprise guest coming too. But Dan, what do you got for local news, my friend?
Since I heard you talk about it earlier, let's talk about the road project. This is from just east of Airport Road, Route 64, patching and resurfacing, all the way to Maple Park, or rural Maple Park, the county line. $1.5 million project, work zone. Of course, there'll be flaggers daily, and drivers are encouraged to pay attention to the signs, obey speed limits, and stay alert in the work zone. And that will end roughly in mid-September.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, Steve, we had the Mayor Barnes here from DeKalb, and he said the two complaints he got, number one was the road repairs and speeding, the speeding that people are doing. Do you have that problem in Sycamore? A lot of people not obeying the speed limit there.
You know, honestly, we don't get a lot of complaints about that. I think that it's, we don't have the same type of traffic as DeKalb does. And also, we've kept up really well with our road projects and keeping them in line. And of course, this Route 64 is a state project. We really don't have much say of when they do it or how we do it. But no, actually, we're pretty fortunate in Sycamore. It's roads are basically good. I'm sure you can find some that have potholes and somebody will complain. And monitoring of the speed limits has been good.
Yeah, 64 is a little crazy. 64 and 38, I put them in the same category with the kind of a scary road to take there.
Because, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, very good. And then there's a second project you mentioned there too. So that'll be rehabbing portions of Route 64 from 23 Main Street to Airport Road. So that whole section will be done, right?
Yeah, and those are all state projects. So we enjoy the state projects. Doesn't hurt our budgets.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Do you pony in like 10 or 15%, or how does that work in terms of the city?
There is some percentage in there, but basically it's a state project. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Mm-hmm. All right, Dan, what else you got, my friend?
Sycamore Mayor is facing burglary charges. July 14th, 2:30 in the morning. It always happens in that time. Deputies responded to the Sycamore RV Resort. Property owners told deputies the burglary happened roughly 90 minutes earlier. Also, a similar burglary occurred a few days earlier on July 10th, also in the wee hours. According to scanner chatter, the offender was spotted on a Ring camera entering one of the buildings. The sheriff's office now says 18-year-old Josh Ottle of Plymouth Court charged with 2 counts of burglary. Those are Class 2 felonies. He turned himself in on the 16th of July. He was released with a court date.
All right. Boy, it's sad to think at that age to do that, but maybe that's young enough he can turn his life around.
Yeah, and Plymouth Court is right there by that campground, and that campground has had a very good record of safety and being secure out there. So I'm sure they're disappointed over it, but yeah, somebody that age, you're very disappointed to hear about it.
Yeah, was there any cases in Sycamore in terms of, we haven't talked to the Sycamore Police Chief, we talked to a new one, But in wilding, we hear the term wilding with these groups of teenagers going around. Anything like that in Sycamore that you know?
No, we've been pretty fortunate, with the teen takeover type things.
Yeah, right.
No, not that I'm aware of it or have been made aware of.
Okay.
So we've been fortunate that way.
That's some scary stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is.
That's a great place. My friends, when they come up from Louisiana, they're camper people.
Okay.
They love that place.
That's great. That's
A lot of people don't realize it's kind of a hidden gem out there that they really do a good job. I think it's the Capel family that runs it. They do a very nice job.
Yeah, when both of the pools shut down here in DeKalb and Sycamore, people were talking about Sycamore Lake. And
Right.
there's a lake in Sycamore.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a little hidden secret over there.
Right.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about the younger people here. Now I see there's a senior housing proposed at the Old Mill Park Clubhouse, 55 and over. Tell us about that, Steve. And what does that mean?
Well, that's Brian Granger's project. It's been ongoing. We got the south side of it done. I think it's to capacity now, and he started to build a very nice clubhouse and then started housing out there. And seems to be found a market. They're filling up quickly.
And of course, when we see something like this, we know that these people do the research ahead of time. It's not like we build it and they'll come. They know that there's people out there ready to will and wanting to live in a community like Sycamore.
Yeah, that's right.
Very good. All right, Dan, what else you got, my friend?
DeKalb Knights of Columbus Council is hosting its 42nd DeKalb County First Responder Appreciation Pig Roast this week at their hall on East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Police and fire personnel from across the county are getting complimentary pulled pork dinners. Also, the public is invited to attend. There will be music, a band, the Bow Band, cash bar. They've been doing this event since 1983.
Is that right? Tell us about it. Do you know about that, Steve?
I'm not a Knights of Columbus, and it's in DeKalb, so I've been aware of them. They do a lot of good for the community.
Yeah, and the first responders are just a special,
very nice to be
special group.
recognized,
Dan, you
Sycamore, all over the county. Yeah, they're invited.
You toyed with the idea of becoming a dispatcher. You looked into a job doing that and realized just the enormity of that job. I mean,
Well, the hours are intense. I mean, the job is intense.
yeah.
In and of itself,
Mhm.
whether it's 9 to 5 or not. But I looked into it. I mean, I think the stress level's pretty high with that job
Sure.
and law enforcement. That sector in general is at high stress.
And then they're the highest suicide rate, unfortunately, as well, too. But let's talk about, with the great fire chief that you have there in Sycamore and, of course, the new fire station. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Mayor?
Very excited for that. It's a great project, one that's been needed for quite a while. I think the community will really enjoy it. It's moving along just as better than we planned, actually. They'll probably be in-house before November and full up and running by the end of the year.
There didn't seem to be any negative pushback with
there
the
was
proposal.
negative.
Oh, there was. Okay, tell us about it. Because to look at the old fire station where you can't even get the new trucks in there.
Yeah, some people just didn't think it was a good spend of money, but that old station had a lot more issues than what was shared. If you go by it today, the windows are open because the air conditioning doesn't work. There's asbestos in there. The trucks that are made now, we were spending $30,000 and $35,000 extra for new trucks because we had to have different lifts. And you try to tell people the houses that were built in the 50s, you couldn't pull a car into now. We have one of these new SUVs, and it's the same with all the equipment that's with the fire department. It was one of the things that really troubled me. I heard we were having a hard time hiring fire people for a while. And then I talked to a few and they said, well, after they visited our old firehouse and then they visited a new one in Elbert or Huntley or something like that, where are they going to go? So this will make us a little bit more competitive in that market too. And the firemen really appreciate it. It's a great asset for them, all the extras that we'll have in there now.
And what is the fate of that building as far as you know?
We are still doing something with it eventually. I'm sure that the part that has the fire station will be torn off, but the police station was just remodeled a few years ago. So that will stay there and it'll still be part of the city, but we'll probably end up taking down the fire department.
And is that a difficult transition? I remember when we, at the radio station, we were at WLBK, we went from one place to another. We tried to stay on the air 24 hours, and obviously that'll be have to make that transition from the one fire station to the new one.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's something that we're not the first ones to do it.
Right, okay.
There's models out there that they're Bart Gilmore and I believe it's Jim Ward have both been working on, so the transition goes smooth. We won't have a time when we don't have a fire department. They'll be out there.
All right, very good. All right, Dan, what else you got, my friend?
The boiler was an issue in that old building too.
No, huge issue. Yeah, the boiler was constantly going out. So
Asbestos.
Yeah.
asbestos fire. I mean, the floor was bad, the piping was bad, windows were cracked. I mean, it's an old building.
Yeah.
You know,
What was the year when that was built? When
and it's same age as I am. 57, I think.
Sorry.
The posters were in the charts. I had a question about for the mayor about industry in Sycamore with this tariff talk that's been occurring in this country. Governor Pritzker issued an executive order for state agencies to evaluate how Trump administration tariffs will impact Illinois industries and consumers. The order announced, now a week ago, directs state agencies to identify vulnerabilities and disruptions, prepare for medical supply chain disruptions, stabilize food assistance programs, protect infrastructure investment, and strengthen emergency preparedness. I surmise the governor's being a little overdramatic here because I think what President Trump is doing is a little bit of horse trading as far as threatening tariffs on this country and that country, and then relinquishing.
Rethinking it. Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't keep up with that. You know, I kind of always take the attitude of staying in my own lane and trying to have Sycamore ready for anything that happens. The manufacturers in Sycamore that I've talked to, they've shown some concern, but they have Plan B ready to go. You know, if something does happen. So it's I think it'll hurt some of the not-for-profits and maybe some of the those things like that have food programs that they may have to reach out a little bit more, but.
That's the mayor of Sycamore, Steve Braser, visiting with us today. Now, Steve, I know you were very instrumental in getting Michael Hall, the city manager, hired. But in the article I have here, it says in April, this would be of last year, voted to hire a consultant to better help identify industrial growth opportunities in the city. And how is that going? Are we getting more
well, it's really to identify strengths and weaknesses. It was the idea of that whole thing to see if, what industries are we ready for? What do we need to be, ready for more industries to come to town? What type we can attract? And then, of course, you have to have things ready like infrastructure and housing available for them. And it takes with the school district, too. So that was part of that whole study. And there hadn't been one performed in, I think, almost 20 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was money well spent.
And I never miss an opportunity to mention the Suter Company and the tremendous end of Tim Suter and the gang over there. And, we had the kids from the Youth Engaged in Philanthropy here for one of our podcasts, and they did that, where they fed the children and boxed up the food, and what a wonderful thing to do.
In Sycamore, we're really blessed with our industry. Suiters are fantastic. Ideal Industries.
Ideal.
Such a great gift to Sycamore. Chris Meyer's come in and taken over the Anaconda project and the things he's given back to Sycamore with all the industries that he has out there. He even started his own trade school out there. So we've been very fortunate in Sycamore, and even some of the smaller ones like this Sub-70 Golf, they've been a great asset. They deploy quite a few people and bring people into town. We've got a great group of different restaurants out there and industries, Doty's and Steps and Sons out there. They've been a pillar in the community for a long time and give back. So I'm probably leaving somebody out, but we've been very fortunate with the industries we've had and how they've gone to the community. Upstaging is fantastic, and Nighthawk Video. I mean, all those companies, Five Stones. I go and visit with them, and they have so much nice things to say about us. Where I'm trying to come out and thank them. And then recently, Cole Pallet moved over to Sycamore in one of our vacant buildings out there, and they give back to the community and provide great services too. So we're very fortunate in Sycamore.
Yeah, Ideal Industry did the thing. Dan and I were talking about that. Where not everybody needs to go to college or 4-year college. They had the kids working with the metal with the metal industry,
right.
And maybe go right to work after high school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's great.
And they're the ones they actually donated a lot for the fire department. Then created that great park across the street, the connector path, and they take care of all that for us and stuff too. And just over the years, that's the tip of the iceberg of what that family has done for the community.
That's great. That's wonderful. So I wanted to talk about that, and I want to touch on the grocery tax because that's kind of a dead issue now because you guys voted against the grocery tax, right?
No. We have not voted against it yet.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
No, we it'll probably come up the next meeting. Personally, I'm for it. And it's really a tough tax. It was really kind of unfair that they threw this at us and said we had to make a decision. It's been a tax that's been there for 40 years. And for us to go in and make a decision that quick of where we're going to change our budget or where we're going to come up with that money, For the city of Sycamore, it's $700,000 a year, and that grocery tax.
Oh, is it that much? Because in
Yeah.
DeKalb, it's 800,000, so 700,000 for Sycamore. Okay.
700,000 a year in Sycamore. And so, I mean, that's a shift of police or firemen would all have to get let go, not to mention that maybe we couldn't give to some other, community organization things. So maybe down the line, we will eliminate it, but I think for this year and probably even the next, we'll go forward with it. But for that to come into, they hit us with it like, we're going to take this away now,
Right.
was really unfair. And so, we dealt with it. We looked at a lot of different things, but I'm for passing it. And I really don't know what the rest of the council feels, but I think we're going to probably pass that one.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned because we lose back the fact that we've been paying this for 40 years.
40 years,
It's not
yeah.
like it's a new tax.
No,
Yeah.
it's been in the budgets for 40 years. And, for just to come in and say, well, you have to make a decision this year and get rid of it.
All right, very good. All right, Dan, you got one more, and then we'll have our special guest come in. Or you have a simple question. I'm sorry, man.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Across the street from Menards, near Ralph's.
Yeah.
Menards is putting up is it a mini storage?
Yeah, mini storage facility over there. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just curious. Someone asked me the other day, and I remember that it was Menards constructing something. But,
Yeah. Quite large. I was surprised at how big that was.
And what is that? It's an outlet of some kind of a
Storage.
storage. Okay.
facilities,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, storage facility. So
Yeah.
we Americans have stuff.
Do you know the announcer from Menards has passed a couple of years back,
Yeah.
and they still use his voice?
Yeah.
I find that weird that they can edit that together in such a way that.
AI.
Yeah. There you go.
A girl you like very much, Susanna Mendoza.
Oh yes, she's gonna run for mayor.
Well,
She hasn't said it yet.
yeah, instead of another term as controller or comptroller, but I say controller. She announced she will be exploring what's next. Speculation was that she'd run for Chicago mayor. I was thinking governor.
All right, get behind her. You know why? Because she's fiscally responsible. That's what I like about her.
What a concept!
I know.
Spending less than what you. Anyway, so that's in 2027, the mayoral race. But yesterday morning, she said, "Stay tuned." She would be making an announcement soon about focusing on transparency and building trust in government. And some suspect she may run for governor.
Okay.
So.
Picked the wrong state to start doing that, I guess. What do you have any thoughts on her, Mr. Mayor?
I've never personally met her, but I do like her. I think she's,
She's feisty too.
yeah. So you never know until they're there.
And by the way, the controller's office race is that's totally open. It'll be an open race.
All right.
So that'll be it.
All right, now we have a special guest coming in again. Of course, the 25th annual Fizz Earler Memorial Turning Back Time Car Show is coming up Sunday, July 27th. Gates open at 7 a.m. And Mr. Mayor, I don't have to tell you all the things that are going on in addition to the car show. And here to prove it, we have a gentleman about town in Sycamore, Mike DeVito. Of course, Mike's decked out in his Turning Back Time car outfit.
Hey, Mike,
how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
You're wonderful. Thanks for taking time. We're calling this the Sycamore Show because we have the mayor of Sycamore here with us today. And of course, we've been talking to you about the 25th annual Fizz Earler. Mr. Mayor, first tell us, did you know Fizz back in the day? Or
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Tell us about your
family.
thoughts with Fizz.
I had him as a customer when I had the shoe store and knew his wife and his kids and stuff. Good guy.
Really?
Yeah, it's nice that the group took up and made this in his honor.
And of course, we have to thank you so much, Mike. Every year, you guys help us out with Let's Talk Turkey and Freezing for Food. We always, Mike Trital would always come by with the big check there at the end, and so grateful. Now, tell us about how all the nonprofits benefit from the Turning Back Time Car Show.
Absolutely. Over the last 25 years, it's our 25th anniversary this year, so it's a big year for us.
Yeah.
We have literally helped out probably, I wanted to say, between 50 and 100 different nonprofits in the community in the 100,000 plus range of donations. So a lot of people don't know this, but our car club it's a nonprofit. Everything that we get from that day that everyone comes out and celebrates, a little bit of Sycamore, wonderful Sycamore and automotive history. After we're done paying for the porta potties and those sanitizing stations and that kind of fun stuff, and the trash cans, the dollars that we receive from that go right back into the community.
It seems like you've been on an upward trend for the duration. Was there a time when you kind of tapered off a little bit?
Yeah, we had a little, I think everyone had a little hard time with the COVID.
Oh, with the COVID, of course, yes.
COVID stuff. We were following closely at the time, the state rules and, about gatherings and everything. And unfortunately, we weren't able to put it on that year, but we did manage to do a drive-by kind of thing that day, and that weekend we kind of managed that. So
I want to use a different term than that, right?
or maybe a cruise. And that was
We're in a drive-by.
we would hand out with safe distance. I wanted to kind of forget that whole time. I think everybody does, but and everyone kind of just drove around, and we managed to do that. But other than that, that was the one year where we had. But I have to tell you, the year after that was probably one of the
Big bounce back.
Oh yeah, everyone was so happy to get back to normalcy, so to speak, and
we talk about the event being just a one-day Sunday, but it's a whole weekend, really. Tell us about that.
it really is. So there's a cruise night on Saturday, and a local business establishment, the Dirty Bird, good restaurant, good
Sure.
for the folks there, Josh and his wife, and their
And that's a great story, isn't it, Mr. Mayor? Because they started with a food truck, right? And now
Yeah.
they got a concrete, they got a place.
Two places now.
Two
yeah,
places.
they do that and Angry Pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Angry Pickles there. So, okay.
Yeah, and they still have their food truck.
And the food trucks.
And why is the pickle angry? Do we know?
I don't know.
All right. Dan, get on that way.
Stop in and find out. All right, so find out more. Get a burger and a drink, and bring your family, and then I'm sure you could find out. Ask the question.
But for older folks, they don't know. We used to go cruising around. There was a circuit that you would cruise, especially in small towns, where you would go a little mile circuit there and
Sure.
and just cruise all night long, looking for chicks.
Yeah, the cruising was a big thing. Even when I was a teenager, still, I went back to a small town in Nebraska, and I discovered cruising with my cousins.
Okay.
And the town was maybe 3 blocks long. So if you blink, you miss it, But they said, let's go cruising. And I'm like, what's cruising? And I found out. And then you point down the other car if you want to talk to them. And then you park on the side, and then you talk.
Oh, sure.
This is pre-cell phone and pre all that other stuff. So,
And don't forget the Chinese fire drill, too.
Exactly.
The Chinese fire drill, right?
But those are some good memories, yeah.
So is it too late now? Of course, we're recording this here on the 17th. People can register right up to the day of the event, or how does that work?
Right. So we have a early bird special, which is kind of going to be passed by the time that everybody gets this. But the day of the show, you bring your car, and if you want to enter your vehicle at the gate, it's $20. And there's a nice man there with a long beard, Hutch, who is the nephew of Biz Erler. So
Okay.
you get to meet him right there, and he's a local kind of legend, with great guy, excellent welder, and everyone kind of knows him in the car community, but real good guy.
And Chuck Griswold, we have to mention Chuck Griswold, right?
Chuck started the show.
Okay.
So Chuck, the story behind that whole thing real fast is Chuck used to go to other shows in the community in like different areas around the Midwest. And he thought for the longest time, gosh, Sycamore is such a beautiful community, such a great town. What a great place to feature. Why don't we do a show here? And he put it together. And I think the first year, I was not involved in that at that time, but I guess it rained. And they still had like 300 cars, I think, thrown out.
Yeah.
And it became a hit. And then sadly, Biz Erler, great guy in the community, just like Chuck Criswell, he lost his battle with cancer. And then Chuck decided to name this show in his honor. So it became the Fizz Erler Memorial Turning Back Time Car Show.
Okay.
And then sadly, about 10 years ago, also Chuck himself, as many of our family members, I think everybody out there has had a family member or someone struck with cancer.
I just lost my brother last year, yes.
Exactly.
I know.
I lost my sister-in-law too, yeah. So it's a big thing. But anyhow, he passed away also. So the Best of Show, we have the Fizz Erler Memorial Turning, we have that award. We have the Chuck Criswell Award. And it's a participant judge show. So people that come and you enter your car, it's not like picked by us or anything like that. The Best of Show is picked by the other participants that enter a car.
Okay.
And then there are some other fun awards that we like. The Kids' Choice.
Well, the most important award is, of course, the mayor's, right?
It is the
Sycamore
most
Mayor's
important
choice.
award, the Mayor's Choice.
What do you look for, Mr. Mayor, when you're evaluating these automobiles?
I have no.
Looking for the raccoon tail or
I don't know.
What was your first car?
Yeah, what was your first car?
Mine was a 72 Pinto.
Oh my gosh. No, I would change that story about I had a Dodge Dart, but I was a little embarrassed about that. But a Pinto, boy, I could feel confident about the Dart. What was the story? Was it brother's car or your mom or dad's?
No, bought it. Borrowed the money from my dad to buy the car. Had a sunroof, an orange shag carpeting. It was pretty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What color is it?
Orange and white.
Orange or white?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta love it.
Got about 45 miles with a gallon. So it was amazing stick shift. It was great.
Dan, what do you have? What was the first right? Just lean over and tell us what yours was.
Oh, no. Mine was an AMC Renault, a piece of garbage.
Oh, my God.
Not even cool. I'd rather have a Pinto. A 72 Pinto is probably worth a lot of
It
scratch.
probably is right now. No, I had the 72 Dodge Dart. I had a Datsun picked out. with fire, the flames on the side, it was my full budget. And my brother Kevin's like, now, you know, when you buy the car, you have to get things like gasoline and insurance. And I'm like, oh, man. So I ended up getting the powder blue Dodge Dart instead of the Datsun with the fire on the side. But I was able to insure it, though. So there was that.
So your first car.
I had a 1976 Chevy Vega.
Oh,
So that was something. And we painted it silver, and we called it the Silver Bullet.
oh
That
my.
was the car.
Yeah, mine was the car of the future. Everybody, did you have a nickname for the old Pinto?
I did not. I did
Okay.
not do that, no.
Did you have a nickname for the Renault?
No, I hated that rig.
I think you can cuss on podcasts. I think it's okay.
Well, Mike DeVito, as the Mr. Mayor was pointing out too, with all that you've done, not only for the community, but for the school district as well. And why do you give so much? Why is it important for you to keep Sycamore so well?
Well, Sycamore is an important part of my whole life. I mean, I moved here years ago, wanted to raise my family here. My one son, Michael, same name as me, he's actually on the school board. And he is the president of the school board now. But he gives back to the community just like the mayor does. You know, kind of like one of these things I told the kids when they were small, and they look at the world and you see all the kind of things out of your control. And I think every parent gets this with a child. You know, why are things this way? How do I make things better? Especially when you have kids that ask those kind of questions. You know? So, and I used to say, listen, we're not going to probably fix everything. You can't fix the whole world, but try something local. Try to fix something in your community locally. Even like go and work over at the homeless shelter, or go work over at the food pantry. And I remember Michael, I'm just using him as an example, but he's our first. He wanted to go and do stuff. So he went over to at the time it was United Methodist, had a food pantry, and he'd go over there and help stock the shelves and move things around. And, you know, it just was a way to help back.
Yeah. It can be life changing. It really can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of makes you realize how fortunate you are. Thankfully, I've never been in that category where I personally had to use a food pantry. But I was raised in a family where my mom always taught us to, you know, everything is, you know, we're very blessed. And if you're blessed, you help other people. And even if you're not blessed, you still help other people. And, you know, blessings are many different things. It's not monetary. It's just, you know, maybe health, maybe good fortune. And,
Sure.
You know, things like that. So
Yeah, my wife told me that not to use the term lucky, that you're blessed, and it is. It's true. You're blessed to have with health and family. And well, we're quickly out of time, but talk about Mr. Mayor here for a moment. What's it been like working with Steve Braser through the years?
Great mayor. Very fortunate. No, I'm not just saying that because he's standing next to me or sitting next to me, but really, within the community itself, I mean, like the things that you've seen over the years, and we've had, obviously our other mayors have been, you know, wonderful. They love the community too. But
Vote Monday on Tuesday. It was always my favorite.
right?
Campaign slogan, vote Monday on Tuesday.
Exactly. But it's a much different thing. I remember meeting one of the old mayors. He used to be a barber, and he told me I had $1 million budget, and we had you know, used police cars, and he was telling me all these stories about, you know, back in the day. And it's a much different world today. He has a lot more, you know, not that they didn't then, but today, I mean, what he's faced with is tremendous amounts, things that we never even thought about, you know, with all the, from good to bad, things that are in our society that a mayor today has to be, you know, overlooking and responsible with.
Was that Red Johnson?
Yeah, it was
okay.
Red. It was
I
Red.
heard stories about him.
Yeah, he used to lecture you while he give you the haircut and kind of
that
tell
was
you the
Bernie
past.
McMillan.
And Bernie too.
Yeah,
Bernie, yeah, that was Bernie.
Red had the furniture store.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he'd sit there, and in fact, he would line up the kids because we'd all go and see have the number one on it.
Yeah, number one.
And but I taught my lovely wife how to do this, and never, you know, since he passed. So
Well, Dan uses the Flowbee himself. He prefers the Flowbee. Well, Mike DeVito, thank you again. And again, your boys are wonderful. You know, I only know Mike Jr. and Trent, and there's a third one.
Ty are
doing good stuff too.
They all have a hand in helping with the show. It's not us though; it's a whole community event. But all the volunteers, all the board members. I know it's a one-day event as far as the Sunday, the 27th this year of July. But people plan this. We go into this all year, and the city's been nothing but wonderful. I want to say it's codified.
So one of the first things I did when I became mayor was to codify that.
Exactly.
And so they didn't have that in there, and
What does that mean, Mr. Mayor? Codified?
they have that weekend every year. They know when it's going to be.
It's locked in.
It's locked in.
Okay.
It's locked in year to year like that. That was one of the first things that I did. And I'll tell you what, the volunteers and everything that people that work for you is because of what you guys have done and created that atmosphere. And that's always been the great thing about the car show is the atmosphere that goes down there. There's no arrogance about it. They all put in the work and create a great family and community event.
Very good. Well put. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so 25th Annual Fizz Early Turning Back Time Car Show coming up Sunday, July 27th. Best way to find more info is what, Mike? Just go to the
Right
website,
on our
right?
website, yeah, just go straight to the website, turningbacktimecarshow.org, O-R-G.
Well-
And then we have a Facebook page too. If you look us up, you'll see it.
Now, wasn't there a turnover this year? Michael's wife stepped down?
Yeah, she has, actually, Kelly Kuhn is the president of the car club, and it's actually Madeline's,
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Hutchinson, he's the vice president.
Mm-hmm.
And,
It's a small world,
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we're getting new blood in. It's not
That's
all, you know.
important, though, to bring in that new blood like that. It's great. And
It really
it's not
is.
like she's not busy because had another grandchild over there.
Right,
so-
absolutely. We have a second grandson.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, so we're keeping busy with that.
Yeah.
But it's a nice event, and come out. It's a wonderful family event. I even if you have no knowledge of any automobile, it doesn't matter. You come out. It's a great time to get together, old and young alike. It's nice to see grandparents with their kids and their grandkids, and then they talk about I had a car like we just talked about. We talk about the old cars, and
I love it.
you have something in common with your grandkids that way.
Maybe the mayor will find his old orange Pinto and bring that to, well, we can only hope.
Absolutely.
Well, Mike DeVito, thank you so much for your time. We got to kick you out of here if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Shadow has found us somehow, the
All right.
unofficial mayor of the council. We're going to let Shadow come in and say hello for a moment. Mr. Mayor, I'm sure you know Shadow, the unofficial
I do.
mayor of the council. Come on and say hi, Shadow, real quick. We're recording right now, so come and say hi, buddy. What's going on with you, Shadow?
Oh, how y'all doing?
Talk to the mic real quick then.
How y'all doing? Glad to be with you today.
We're doing good.
Yep. And I'm here to let the people know that T.D. Ryan is going to be our guest at the Kishwaukee Kiwanis pretty soon.
That's true. Yes.
Talking about the freezing for food and the Let's Talk Turkey.
And you're helping us with the freezing for food location with the Hy-Vee. You're going to work with your manager. Of course, Shadow works over at Hy-Vee. You're going to help us get that location again this year, right?
I'm working on it, and I should have some details for you pretty soon. And I'm looking forward to coming and recording the little spiel about the Chuck Seabrass Memorial Cornball.
Very good. All right.
Corn boil.
Yeah, we all love Chick Seabrass very much too. And of course, I saw you recently at the concert at the Music at the Mansion. How would you rate the band that night? Were they pretty good?
I would rate them pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. Well, Shadow, we love you. We don't have a lot of time for you today. I like your Muhammad Ali t-shirt, but thanks for stopping by. We'll get you back on the podcast real soon, okay?
Yeah. And who is this clown?
He's pointing over at Dan Lynch right now. All right. Thanks, Shadow. He was only kidding about that, of course. Now, the DeKalb County History Center, Mr. Mayor, what a gem that is, too. And, of course, Michelle Donahoe, just a wonderful job. We've worked with her now, so once a week she'll give us a fun fact, and this is from July 14th, 1955. DeKalb Fun Fair Parade. Do you know there was a Fun Fair Parade?
I do remember the fun fair.
Do you really?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
Chairman Ed Carlson announced today that a new feature has been added to the September 15th parade. Prize will be awarded for the best Daisy and Davy Crockett entries and a ceremony after the parade. He urged children to take good care of their Davy Crockett outfits this summer so they'll be in good shape for the parade.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you had the Davy Crockett. Now, it's a little bit before you, right?
Well,
Davy Crockett.
I had a coonskin cap.
You had the coonskin
I did.
cap.
Yeah.
Because I guess those sales peaked though, but
Probably.
yeah, and then they
Yeah.
kind of went down again. But
Yeah.
but it's fun to go back and look at the old time like this.
It is. It's one of the better features. I always like the midweek when they do that back in time.
Yeah.
Thing. The unfortunate thing is I'm part of that history now.
But the Pumpkin Fest, Wally's Row, and looking back at the history of the Pumpkin Fest, it's amazing to watch how that has
Yeah.
sparked through the years.
Yeah, it's an amazing event every year. We take it for granted. It's been around so long, and then things like the car show. And I actually had the first time I've had people approach me like, "Why doesn't Sycamore do a 4th of July event?" And I said, "Well, DeKalb and Kirkland have that. We've got the car show. We've got the Pumpkin Fest and stuff too. So just other opportunities out there to create more for a family and try to do things together with DeKalb and Sycamore and Genoa and Kirkland than being opponents against them."
Right, yeah, can't we all get along?
Right.
Yes. Do you have another story, Dan? Did we miss something?
I think I covered them all. I didn't know if you wanted to do.
We're going to do a news quiz. That's coming up.
Yeah, but I got everything done. It was so nice to see the mayor and Shadow. I haven't seen Shadow in a long time.
I know, Drew Channel, of course, the unofficial mayor of
And we miss
DeKalb.
you at the city council meetings. We never get to see you there anymore.
Yeah.
As much as I'm sure as you miss me at those meetings, but
Well, Mayor Braser, he'll drop a dry joke.
Well, I remember because I had
Every now and then.
interviewed the mayor, and one morning Dan and I were talking about Steve, and he said, he's a pretty funny guy. I go, Steve Braser? Because you're always not dry with me, but you're just very straight to the point.
Well,
with the
I
answer.
try to be nice here.
Well, we appreciate that. Now, speaking of nice, I'm excited that the Sycamore Police Department has a new police dog, an additional police dog. Gibbs is joining that. And, I talk about the 9/11. I don't know if you ever read the book about dogs of 9/11, where they brought them there and originally to find living people, but of course, unfortunately, it was all, they ended up being cadaver dogs. And these dogs were used to finding live people. So every once in a while, a fireman would hide so the dog could find the fireman and they reward them. But the biggest thing got me, and I almost break down when I talk about it, is it's a time when the firemen weren't working, the time they spent with the dogs. They'd go and they hugged the dog, and they said they would talk to the dogs, and the catharsis that the dogs provided, just amazing. And I know that happens with the police dogs as well, with whether it be the kids or...
Yeah, very generous of the Beamises to donate that dog to the police department. And not only have we found it been beneficial for the police department, but the school district, uses them also, and they have comfort dogs that go out. And I'm a dog person, love them, and I know how comforting that can be. I can't imagine how important it is in situations like that.
Well, little kids with dogs, it's just
Yeah.
magic. I mean, it's just something that just happens there that's just unbelievable.
Mhm.
We want to mention the Stagecoach Players. They're going to start Shakespeare in Hollywood starting on July 17th. That'll run 2 weekends there at the Stagecoach Players Theater. I am in the Cozy Corner. Now, I belong over at the Elder Care Center. Elder Care Service has a Cozy Corner, and we do a book club. And I want people to come join us for a book club meeting. That'll be the second Wednesday of the month in August. If you could come and join us for that, I just wanted to get that promo in there as well. And then what else did I want to mention there? Oh yeah, we all try to make it like the morning show, Steve. So we do obits as well. And I was telling Dan that you reach a certain age where you actually start reading the obits in the newspaper. But I have been, and I realize just amazing people that we have in this community that unfortunately we've lost. And one of those would be Beverly Murphy, Beverly of Sycamore.
Yeah.
Beloved good figure in her community.
Yes.
Beverly and Ronald raised their children in a red brick house on Salmonock Street in Sycamore, a home cherished by loved ones in Beverly herself. For 62 years, Beverly opened a door to children, grandchildren, relatives, and friends who were always greeted with a warm hug and a spirited back from her many beloved dogs. The dogs again. In the fall, she adorned her home with pumpkins and witches, invited the guests to enjoy Sycamore's Pumpkin Fest parade with front row seats on her lawn, and a warm bowl of homemade chili. Boy, how about that? So you knew this lady.
Miss Murphy, very good. Yeah, very nice person. And her husband and their family, great to the community.
And really embraced Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah, and have given back to Sycamore in other ways too.
Well, let's talk about
people
it.
that made Sycamore.
Beverly's dedication to her community was evident in her volunteer work. She organizations in Sycamore and DeKalb, including the Kishwaukee Hospital Auxiliary Gift Shop, Oakcrest Retirement Center, the Country Store Thrift Shop. Beverly leaves behind a legacy filled with love, tradition, and wisdom. So just a special lady. And whenever I see a cardinal, because that's funny, I always think of my brother when I see a cardinal. And red buffalo check. You know what a buffalo check is, Dan?
No, I do not.
You know that, Mr. Mayor?
I do not.
It's that design. It's designed like on flannel shirts, that check design. That how flannel shirts have that.
I'm not going to call you a liar. I believe you.
Well, my wife told me that. She does a lot of crossword puzzles. She knew that one.
A little trivia for you. One of Murphy's daughters is married to the Monatis from Luminati.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Still the best deep dish pizza ever.
Still
I've had them
still the original, but yeah, that's part of that family.
And I want to mention Anita Lusick, if I hope I'm saying that right, a.k.a. the beloved Grammy, recently celebrated her 108th birthday surrounded by her family before passing peacefully in her sleep 4 days later. She was born in 1917.
Yeah.
Anita worked in a textile machine operator factory for many years as a young woman. In 1944, she married Eugene, and they were married for 60 years. He passed in 2014. They met in the U.S. Army during World War II. How great is that? We hear so many stories about World War II, basically negative story, but here's a case where a couple fell in love during World War II.
It's kind of one of the, my mom and dad, my father was in the service, and it's one of those things that's going to go away. But every day the women that were back home were encouraged to write letters, to the servicemen overseas, and they were anxious to get that mail. And with today's technology, I don't think anybody sends letters anymore. And that's, you always hear about the letters and different things, and that's something that won't be there anymore.
I saw there was Steve Hartman, is it, that does a show on the Sunday morning show. And a young girl had written a letter to a guy in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he got it and he saved it the whole time. And his wife found the girl, and she was in the military. She had joined the military. and they met. It was just magic. And he said he held on to that card. The card got him to the war, and then he held on to it the rest of his life. So
Right.
it's amazing what that can mean. So they met during the war there in Fort Dix, New Jersey. She entered her armed career as a corporal. She spent her light duty driving trucks and drove mail trucks and ambulances for prisoner of war after attending the Motor Pool Transport School. While serving her country, she received the following decorations: World War II Victory Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, the Wax Service Ribbon, and the American Service Medal. A fun seeker, talented maker of quilts and dowels, an expert garage sailor, animal and nature lover, an Ireland enthusiast, bird watcher, squirrel whisperer, quintessential putterer, a pen pal, an A-plus hugger, and the best mashed potato whipper you'll ever know. But just living to 108 years, just amazing. And
Probably didn't have a TikTok account.
no, there you go. But and then meeting during the war, how great is that? That they're able to get together like that. All right, so Dan, you're going to do a news quiz for us, is right, my friend? We got a question formulated.
The DeKalb County First Responder Appreciation Pig Roast is happening now, actually, or shortly. What was the first year of that event?
All right, and if you can tell, you probably want to know what they're going to win.
Oh, yes. What are you giving away?
Well, funny you should ask, because we happen to have two gift certificates to Pizza Bella, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more. When you play the podcast news quiz program, and want to congratulate Ron Anderson of Genoa. He was our winner last week.
I thought Bill Davey always won that.
Every now and then, Bill would win.
All right.
DeKalb County First Responder Appreciation Pig Roast, again, happening this week. What was the first year of that event? And I've got a hint.
All right.
Right. Win and ugly.
Win and ugly. Oh, okay. Oh, win and ugly. Okay, very good. All right. So if you know that, contact me, tdryan2001 at yahoo.com, tdryan2001 at yahoo.com. And of course, sports, we got a big story in sports. As a matter of fact, I have the pleasure tomorrow to be interviewing young Mr. Ethan Storm, who has been drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 13th round. And I don't know if you know the Storm family, Mr. Mayor, but great story. And of course, Coach Kavanaugh at the baseball, he's been there, 27, I think, years managing there in the Hall of Fame. Just great individual. And we're really looking forward to talking to Ethan about that.
Yeah, congratulations to Ethan. That's fantastic.
Now, you were telling me off the air that you were an official for many years.
For 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Fed. Sadly, people just don't want to do it anymore.
No, it's gotten to be a tougher thing to do. So you don't hear too many people get involved with it. I got involved with it because when I was in college, Title IX really became a thing. And my baseball coach at college said, "Get your license because they need officials for all the girls and boys part." And that got me started. And it was a nice extra income back in the day.
Yeah, what a great piece of advice that was.
Yeah,
Boy.
it really was. Great guy.
And Dan, we were talking off the air before, and we were talking about growing up, because Steve is very unique. That grew up in DeKalb but now lives in Sycamore. But you told me you used to ride around looking for baseball games in the morning, because Dan does a thing every Saturday, starting in a couple of weeks. He has a little pickup baseball game in the neighborhood there.
Yeah.
But you'd go riding around the neighborhood looking for a game, right?
Yep. Go to 7th Street, go to 9th Street, go to Lions Park, go out to the North 40. We'd ride around, look at all of them, and actually, we kind of got a thing together going in my neighborhood with when my boys were growing up, where me and another fellow by the name of Dan Kempton would start a game with our kids and then watch other neighborhood kids join in, and then we'd leave. It's like we had to teach them how to play the neighborhood game.
I love it. That's great. Yeah, because remember, you didn't have an outfield, so you
Right.
hit the center or left, or I missed that a
Pick your
lot.
field.
Yes. And then the mystery runner on site. There's a mystery runner on site. Also want to mention birthdays. I know I've lost my birthday list, but I know want to mention Scott Zyman, again, one of the proud sponsors of this program. Scott had a birthday back on the 16th. Greg Bertano, his birthday's on July 20th, and Sailor Wicker is on the 20th as well. Ethan Franklin on the 26th, and Melissa Remick, the birthday will be on the 31st. There's any birthdays you want to throw in there for July, Mr. Mayor?
My father would be 103 on July 26th.
Oh, gosh. All right.
But he's gone.
All right, well God bless him.
July birthday. And my mother-in-law's birthday would have been this last week too. So
Okay.
but they're both gone. But that does it for me for July.
All right. Well, what do you want to say to the folks in Sycamore? I know a lot of them are listening right now, and of course, I know you speak at city council meetings and such. But from a casual perspective, how much your life? How are you going to run again for a third term?
At this time, I really don't know. Second term, I'll be 71 when I'm done. I hope there's some new people to step up that I would want to see do that. We're trying to get younger people involved in the community. We have Mike Rodriguez came on to the city council this year, and he's doing a very nice job of stepping up. And we replaced some people in planning and zoning, and trying to get some new people involved in the community and, keep the directions going. I'm very happy with since I've become mayor and hope to have that continue. And just there's a lot of great people in Sycamore and meet them all, new people all the time and very appreciative of them. So.
Your last campaign, you said you got this positive momentum in Sycamore. You just want to keep it going. And actually, Mike DeVito just alluded to that as well.
Yeah, Mike's a great, the great family that moved into town and gotten involved, and now his kids are getting involved, and it just can't have enough of that. So.
All right. Dan, you will not be with us next week. You got some big important thing that you're doing. All right. But you will join us in the following week with the local news.
That's correct. Yeah, but I'll send you some stories.
Oh, we appreciate that. Yeah, because we're going to do your predecessor, Scott Zach, will be joining us next week for the news broadcast, and Brad Hoy as well. We're going to find out, the city clerk position, very controversial in DeKalb, not as much in Sycamore, although Mary Koch now has been voted in as the, was there anybody even voted against her? Was it that?
No, nobody ran against her. We, Mary would have been appointed, but we had actually gone through the part where we were going to make that a non-elected position and an appointed position. Because really they don't make any laws or institute anything. It's a changed position over the years.
Yeah.
But Mary ran unopposed, and she does a great job, so we're very fortunate to have her.
All right, very good. Well, Mr. Mayor, we are very fortunate to have you. Thank you so much, Mr. Steve Braser, the mayor of Sycamore, our guest. I want to thank, of course, Mike DeVito stopping by from the Turning Back Time Car Show, and the unofficial two mayors we had on today is we had the unofficial mayor of DeKalb, Shadow Gentry. Again, Dan, thanks for all your hard work, man, and take care of that lovely family of yours. We'll see you in a couple weeks, and we thank everybody for listening. Again, that's TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 7. TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zyman, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zyman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsuranceguy.com. And Elder Care Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org.